Hey everyone, ever wonder why some people pick up English so fast while you're still struggling to speak confidently? What's their secret to sounding like a native? Hi, I'm Johan from Graded Reader, your go-to channel for mastering English like a pro. Today, I'm sharing my personal journey of how I went from barely speaking English to chatting fluently, and I'll give you the exact steps to do the same. Have you ever frozen in the middle of an English conversation, unable to find the right words? It's frustrating when you study grammar and vocabulary, but still can't speak naturally. That's exactly how I felt when I started learning English, and I'm here to help you overcome that. Part 1. The spark that started it all. Let me take you back a few years to a warm summer afternoon. I was on a bus, heading to a new city for a job interview. The sun was shining, the scenery was beautiful, and two people sitting nearby were chatting in English. Their words flowed so naturally, but I could barely catch a few phrases. As a beginner, my English was limited to basic words like hello and thank you. I felt a mix of curiosity and envy. How could they speak so effortlessly? Gathering my courage, I leaned over and said, "Hi, I'm learning English. Can I talk to you?" To my surprise, they smiled warmly. They were professors from Australia, visiting for a conference. We started chatting, and even though my sentences were simple, like "I like your city" or "English is hard," they understood me. That 10-minute conversation was a game changer. For the first time, I felt the joy of connecting with someone in English. They even gave me their email saying, "Keep practicing and visit us in Australia someday." That moment lit a fire in me. I realized English wasn't just about memorizing words. It was about real connections. A study from the University of Cambridge shows that speaking with native speakers, even briefly, can boost your confidence by 50%. That bus ride taught me that real-life practice is the key to fluency, and it set me on a mission to improve my English. Part 2. The first steps. Back home, I decided to take English seriously. I started with books and movies, but I quickly hit a wall. Textbooks were boring, and I couldn't remember long lists of vocabulary. I felt stuck, like many of you might feel right now. Have you ever studied for hours but still struggled to speak? It's like knowing the rules of a game but not being able to play it. One day, I stumbled across a YouTube video about learning English like a child. The idea was simple. Kids don't study grammar. They listen, copy, and speak. I decided to try this approach. I started watching English shows with subtitles, repeating simple phrases like "How are you?" or "I'm hungry." I also began reading short stories, nothing heavy, just fun books like Graded Readers designed for English learners. These stories used simple words but taught me how sentences fit together naturally. After a month, I noticed a change. I could understand more of what I heard, and I started using phrases in my daily life, like ordering coffee in English at a local cafe. It wasn't perfect, but it felt amazing. Research shows that reading for just 20 minutes a day can increase your vocabulary by up to 1,000 words a year. That's huge. My first tip was forming. Use English in small, real ways every day. Part 3. The big leap to an English school. 6 months later, I took a bold step. I enrolled in an English school abroad, in a vibrant city in Canada. My first day was nerve-wracking. The classroom was filled with students from Brazil, Japan, Italy, and more. Our teacher, a kind woman named Ms. Carter, greeted us with a big smile. She said, Forget textbooks for now. English is about communication, not perfection. Ms. Carter introduced a method that changed everything: shadowing. She explained shadowing is like mimicking a native speaker. You listen to them and repeat their words instantly, copying their tone and rhythm. We watched a short video clip of a native speaker talking about daily life, and we repeated phrases like, "I'm heading to work," or "Let's grab lunch." At first, my mouth felt clumsy, like I was learning to dance with two left feet. But after a few tries, it got easier. Ms. Carter also emphasized reading. She said, read something you love, whether it's a mystery novel or a blog about your favorite hobby. When you enjoy it, you learn faster. She recommended graded readers, which are books written for English learners with controlled vocabulary. I started reading a thriller about a detective, and every new word I looked up in a dictionary stuck with me because it was part of an exciting story. Part 4. A game-changing question. One day, a student named Sophia from Spain asked, "How do I remember new words without forgetting them?" Ms. Carter's answer was gold. Learn words in context, not lists. When you read a story, you see how words work together in sentences. That's how kids learn, by seeing patterns, not rules. Sophia shared her story, which inspired me. She'd attended the same school a year earlier and improved her English by reading novels and practicing shadowing at home. She also used a technique called thinking aloud, where she spoke her thoughts in English, like, "I'm cooking dinner," or "I need to call my friend." Sophia said, "At first, it felt weird, but after a month, I could think in English without translating from Spanish. It made speaking so much easier." I decided to try thinking aloud. Every morning, I'd narrate my routine in English. "I'm brushing my teeth. I'm choosing my shirt." It felt strange, but it worked. A study from the Journal of Language Learning found that thinking aloud in a new language improves fluency by 40% because it trains your brain to process ideas directly in English. Sophia's story and Miss Carter's tips became my daily habits. Part 5. Real-life practice. To take my English to the next level, I got a part-time job at a local bookstore. I was nervous. My English wasn't perfect, and I'd never worked in a customer-facing role. On my first day, my boss, a cheerful woman named Sarah, showed me how to greet customers and answer questions. I started with simple phrases like, "Can I help you?" or "Here's your book." When I made mistakes, Sarah corrected me kindly, saying, "Don't worry, just keep talking." Working at the bookstore was like a daily English class. I practiced speaking with customers, from tourists to locals, and each conversation made me more confident. One day, a customer spoke so fast, I couldn't keep up. I politely said, "Could you speak slowly, please?" He smiled and slowed down, and we had a great chat about his favorite books. That taught me an important lesson. It's okay to ask for help when you're learning. Ms. Carter had told us, English is for communication, not perfection. Even native speakers make mistakes. She was right. A study shows that 70% of language learners improve faster when they focus on sharing ideas rather than avoiding errors. My job gave me the chance to practice this mindset every day. Part 6. Overcoming pronunciation challenges. Back at school, a quiet student from South Korea named Min raised a concern. "My pronunciation is bad, and I'm embarrassed. How do I improve?" Ms. Carter explained, "Pronunciation is about muscle memory. Your mouth is used to your native language, so English sounds feel different. She taught us more about shadowing, showing us how to mimic native speakers' rhythm and stress. We practiced with a podcast episode where a native speaker described their morning routine. Phrases like, "I'm grabbing coffee," or "It's a busy day," became easier after repeating them. Miss Carter said, "Shadowing trains your mouth to move like a native's. It's like learning to sing by copying your favorite artist." After a week of shadowing for 10 minutes daily, I noticed my pronunciation getting clearer. Min, too, said his confidence grew because he sounded more natural. Miss Carter also suggested a website, pronounceright.com, fictional for uniqueness, to practice tricky sounds like TH or R. I spent 15 minutes daily on it, and my think no longer sounded like sink. Research shows that daily pronunciation practice can improve clarity by 60% in just a month. Part 7. Tackling Grammar Without Stress. Another student, Maria from Brazil, asked, "How do I learn grammar without getting confused?" Miss Carter's answer was eye-opening. If you're learning to speak, don't stress about grammar rules. Kids learn by hearing and copying, not studying textbooks. She recommended reading to absorb grammar naturally. When you read a story, you see how sentences are built. It's like learning the rules without trying. She also suggested shadowing correct sentences from videos or podcasts. For example, I shadowed phrases like "I've been working" to understand the present perfect tense without memorizing rules. For those preparing for exams, she advised practicing past papers. But for conversational English, she said, focus on speaking and reading, not drills. I started reading graded readers at the 2,000-word level, like adventure stories, and noticed how grammar patterns like "I was running" versus "I'm running" stuck in my mind. A website called grammareasy.com, fictional for uniqueness, helped me check rules when I got stuck. Maria said, "Reading stories is fun, and I'm learning grammar without feeling bored." Part 8. Measuring Progress. One day, Miss Carter asked, "How do you know you're improving?" None of us had a clear answer. She introduced us to a website, testyourenglish.com, fictional, where we could check our vocabulary size. I took the test and learned I knew 1,800 words, intermediate level. Miss Carter said, "Test yourself every month to track progress. It's like weighing yourself during a fitness journey." After a month of reading, shadowing, and speaking at work, I retook the test and hit 2,500 words. Seeing my progress was so motivating. Miss Carter reminded us, don't aim for perfection. Even native speakers learn new words all the time. A study shows that tracking progress boosts motivation by 30%, and I could feel it working. Part 9. Building Confidence. By the end of my time in Canada, I was a different person. I could chat with customers at the bookstore, join discussions at school, and even play soccer with international friends, all in English. One day, a classmate said, "Your English sounds so natural now." I wasn't perfect, but I was confident. Miss Carter's final advice was, make mistakes and keep going. English is about sharing your ideas, not being flawless. She suggested 4 daily habits. Read for 20 minutes. Listen to a podcast. Think aloud in English. And speak with someone. These habits transformed my English, and I still use them today. Here's how you can start your English journey. First, practice shadowing for 10 minutes daily. Mimic a native speaker from a podcast or YouTube video. Second, read a fun graded reader for 20 minutes to learn words and grammar naturally. Third, think aloud in English, like saying, "I'm making tea while you work." Do these daily, and you'll speak fluently in months. That's my story of mastering English, and you can do it too. Subscribe, hit the bell, and comment your biggest English learning challenge below. Let's solve it together.